School. Welcome, welcome. We're going to continue with Leo. We're coming out of the Gospels and the Zodiac, The Secret Truth About JC by the Reverend Bill Darrell-El. All right, so let's pick up where we left off. We're on page 123. 123. Okay. The subheading is the Son of Man. The Son of Man. All right, so all of this information is coming from Mark chapter 8, verse 22 through chapter 9, verse 29. Okay, y'all? So y'all can go check this stuff out on your own. Let me see if I can get better situated. I'm uncomfortable. I'm not sitting where I usually sit at this coffee shop. All right, so let's begin. Son of Man. Hold on. I guess they're getting started late today because the employees are cleaning. But anyway, it seems like lately it's always something when I do these videos. Okay, so throughout this section of the gospel, Mark has JC refer to himself by this strange title, which originally meant nothing more than quote unquote human being. Now, those of you who have been coming to my these presentations and who follow me on YouTube, you'll know that humans are associated with Han-Uman, okay, which is the half man, half monkey, which is a Dogon. I'm sorry, not a Dogon, a hybrid. Okay, so this is the hybrid. We used to think that human meant man with hue, but actually no, that is not correct. That is not correct. Human, if you look that up in a law dictionary, it's going to tell you monster. It has no ability to inherit. It cannot inherit. All right, a human is a monster and it cannot inherit. Okay, and not only that, but hue is color. Okay, so that means a colorable hue, a colorable man. Colorable man, that means a fake man, right? A knockoff. Like, for example, a knockoff Gucci. All right? Looks like it, walks like it, talks like it, but it does not have the same substance. All right? Good morning or good evening wherever you are. Cheers. Black tea. It's a tea leaf came out. Okay, scholars? So again, hue as in colorable. Hue, man. Hue as in color, man. All right? So colorable man. Looks like man. Walks like a man. Talks like a man. But in fact, in substance, it is not. Just like colorable law. All right? Human, Han-Uman. Y'all go back and look at the posts that I've done and the videos that I've done. You'll see one of those videos is a chimpanzee with an orangutan, and there's another one with a Neanderthal impaled on a stake. All right? So go back and watch those if you want more on this, okay? So it's interesting that it has, quote unquote, Son of Man being a human being. Make the distinction between human and man. Genesis chapter 2 is simply man and woman, or man with a womb man. Okay. Psalms chapter 8, verse 4, for example, the psalmist asks, What is man that you are mindful of him, the Son of Man that you care for him? I just had an interesting thought. I'll share my thought. I'm not saying that this is the case, but I'm just going to share my thought. What if, and I'm just sharing a thought, what if it means, what is man, Genesis chapter 2, that you are mindful of him, the Son of Man, that you care for him? What if that doesn't actually mean that? That's something I might investigate this further to see what it says in Ibaryath. Anyway, if I do it, I'll update you all, but you all are welcome to do it, okay? This is a perfect example of parallelism, a consistent feature of Hebrew poetry in which the second part of a statement echoes the first. So if you read it the way it's written, and if you accept that the English represents what's said in Ibaryath, well, it may be some truth to this, right? It may be indeed parallelism. But my question is, man, is this Genesis chapter 2 man? And Son of Man, is this Genesis chapter 1 man? Or are they altogether something different? I would love to know what's in the Ibaryath. Also, the meaning of mindful of him. I wonder what words, Ibaryath words, these are rendered from. But anyway, if I check it, I'll update you guys. This is a perfect example of parallelism, a consistent feature of Hebrew poetry in which the second part of a statement echoes or is the same as the first. In other words, it's just paraphrased, all right? Echo means to paraphrase. You say the same thing, but you just say it with different words. These lines also reflect a Hebrew idiom in which the quote son of, end quote, means one who exhibits the nature of. Okay, so now I'm beginning to become even more curious. Is this Son of Man a human? Okay? One who exhibits the nature of man. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. I'm pointing out some curiosities to you that are worth investigating further. Okay? These lines also reflect a Hebrew idiom in which, quote, son of, end quote, means one who exhibits the nature of. So if you exhibit the nature of, you're not it. You exhibit the nature of. For example, if I am, does a man exhibit the nature of man? I'm going to check into this further. Because as it stands right now, it's still ambiguous to me. So is this a hybrid that's exhibiting the nature of a man? Okay, or is it a man who's being a man, right? That is your nature. You're not exhibiting. Well, I don't know. I have to check it out. All right? So, quote, one who exhibits the nature of, end quote. As in such expressions as, quote, son of kindness in the Old Testament, or, quote, sons of thunder, end quote, a Greek transliteration of an Aramaic word in the New Testament. In Ezekiel, the term, quote, Son of Man, end quote, is used on numerous occasions to mean nothing more than a, quote, person or, quote, human being, unquote. So y'all know a person is a corporate person, right? That's a corporation. Everyone should know that in law. It's a corporation. And none of this stuff that I'm talking about is new. Okay, so this information has been around for a long, long time. Okay, so is the word person used to mean a corporation? Well, I don't know. We would need to investigate this, okay? The reason why it's significant for some people is because JC, the Christ figure, calls himself the Son of Man, right? So is he saying he is a colorable human, a hybrid? That's the point I'm getting at. We would need to look into the Ibaryath. Okay? You will remember that person is a corporation, and corporations, this is the dead state, right? This is the dead state. Corporations are not alive. Okay? 14th Amendment. All right, that's 14th Amendment. Okay? So let's continue. Even in Daniel, where, quote, the Son of Man, end quote, seems to take on an apocalyptic character. All right, so that's referenced at Daniel 7, 18, 22, and 27. There is still no indication that the term Son of Man refers prophetically to an individual messianic figure. All right, scholars? That's still not in the text. Indeed, as J.L. Mackenzie points out in his dictionary of the Bible, quote, Son of Man, end quote, refers to Israel in the book of Daniel. So rather than being a messianic figure, one person, the Son of Man in Daniel is the nation of Israel. Clear? Or, actually it's not clear here. Let's say it's either the nation or the religion of Israel, okay? Just to be thorough. Okay, so let's contribute. Attribution of this title uniquely to JC is a development in later Christian theology. So now this is taking us into religion, scholars. All right? So again, according to the author, Bill Darlison, and you all can research this yourself, Son of Man did not apply to a Messiah figure, specifically JC, until later times, way past Daniel. All right? Way past Daniel, until the Christian era. So that would make it a dogma, right? Scholars, that would make it a dogma that puts you into religion. Okay? It puts you into religion. So let's continue. The attribution of this title uniquely to JC is a development of later Christian theology. But this interpretation has its problems. The principal one concerns passages like Mark 8:38, which refers to the Son of Man, quote, coming in the glory of his Father with his holy angels, end quote. If this foretells a literal second coming of a glorified JC, then it was not fulfilled, since we are later informed that many present, notice this, scholars, many present would not die until they had experienced this quote-unquote return, along with the coming of the kingdom of capital G-O-D, quote-unquote, with power. This is in Mark chapter 9, verse 1. So here again, this is a prophecy that didn't come true. All right, scholars? Now remember, we are not looking at this from a dogmatic religious point of view. We're looking at the literal interpretation of the text. Okay, so we're looking at this scholarly, not dogmatically. Okay, so this is not a religious presentation. This is a scholarly presentation, and we don't deal with doctrine and religion here. So let's continue. All right. If this foretells a literal second coming of a glorified JC, then it was not fulfilled, since we are later informed that many present would not die until they had experienced this return, along with the coming of the kingdom of capital G-O-D with power, Mark 9:1. Only by interpreting the, quote, coming of the Son of Man, end quote, and the coming, and the, quote, coming of the kingdom, end quote, as poetic expressions of internal means inside of you, scholars, okay? Internal means inside of your mind, all right? The author says only by interpreting the text regarding the coming of the Son of Man and the coming of the kingdom as poetic expressions or poetic literature, right? That's what he's saying. Are we to be freed from the literalist preoccupation when looking up at the sky? So what is this that the author is telling us? The author is telling us that these are failed prophecies. If you read the text as meaning a physical Messiah that lived on the earth, who is supposed to physically come back and do all the things that the Messiah is supposed to do with regard to warfare, all right? All the things he's supposed to do to Esau, etc., right? All the things he's supposed to do to the wicked. The author is saying that because none of this stuff ever happened, the only way to make sense of this and have it not be a failed prophecy is to understand the text as simply being poetry. Poetry. And it happens inside of your mind. JC comes back inside of your mind. The kingdom comes back inside of your mind, your consciousness. Is that clear? Is it clear? Otherwise, it's a failed prophecy if you look at it literally. If you look at it literally as what the text is saying, it becomes a failed prophecy. And this is damning to the religionist, okay? And the believers, because now you have nothing to believe in. All right, so that's the problem with that. All right. If anyone has any questions, put them in the comment section, and I will take a look at them. Okay, let me check the time. All right, I got about 10 more minutes, y'all, then I got to bounce. All right, so that information was taken on page 123. All right, so let's go into the transfiguration. Glory and faith, kingship and selfhood are the themes of Leo, themes of the Leo zodiac sign, explored throughout this section of Mark, but nowhere more so than in the account of the Transfiguration. So the Transfiguration has a lot of Leo stuff. All right, so let's check it out. 6 days. 6 days, and there's a footnote, okay? 6 days after the Caesarea Philippi episode, let's read the footnote. Since we are dealing with a document that is densely packed with symbolism, it would be rash of us to assume, as many commentators do, that after quote-unquote 6 days is little more than turn the page, is little more than an editorial gloss, or an arbitrary linking phase. All right? So let's see where he's going with this. According to Genesis, 6 is the number of creative days. And on the 6th day, capital God created human beings. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 through 31. So you guys, scholars, you should know that Genesis chapter 1 is dealing with the creation of the Neanderthal by the Moors and Oannes or the Dogon, okay, or a team. So according to Moorish science, you can take this back to Yaqub and his 12 women, Moabites, scientists who helped him do his work that resulted in the hybrid Paleolithic troglodyte nigger. That's Genesis chapter 1, all right? So do you all see where this is starting to lead us? Okay. So let's continue. 6 symbolizes human nature in its original, quote-unquote, unfallen state. Okay, so he would need to show some evidence of that. Right, scholars? We're not just going to assume that that's what 6 means. Okay, but let's see where he's going. When our relationship with capital God, in whose image we were created, Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So here he's not talking to Moors, men, Genesis chapter 2. He's talking to Genesis chapter 1 clearly. How do I know? Because he says, in whose image we were created. They were created in the image of who? Of the Raphaim. Right? Okay? Of the Raphaim and those Moors, other Moors who participated in that engineering project, in that biological or genetic engineering project. Remember, that's the Yaqub story with the 12 Moabite or Moorish genetic engineers who assisted him. Okay, that's where we are. We're in Genesis chapter 1. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so in whose image we were created, Genesis chapter 1:27, was most evident. 6 is also the number of points on the Star of David, which is composed of 2 penetrating triangles, one pointing up, the other pointing down. Okay, one pointing up to the heavens, the other pointing down to the earth, thus symbolizing the union of human and divine. The appearance of the number 6 in a passage designed to teach us, or rather is designed, there was a typo, is designed to teach us about the true nature of human beings. Therefore, singularly appropriate. Now, the actual nature of the human being is given in the text. It says, let us make man in our image. And then later in the text, it talks about what? It commissions the created creature, the hybrid troglodyte, Paleolithic nigger, or the Neanderthal, whatever you want to call it, is commissioned to go out and put in subjection everything moving on the earth, and that would include man. Genesis chapter 2, Moors. Shalom Islam to all the Moors. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. I would appreciate your support of my project to translate the book of the law into ancient Ibaryath. Some of y'all call it Paleo Hebrew. I'll remove all of the Jeremiah 8:8 occurrences, that is the deception, the lies, the deceit, the outright lies, the injections, stuff they just threw in there, okay? I'll put back in the natural law and natural law principles. I'll show the mechanisms, or the, how should I say it? The mechanisms of how they oppress us, also the signs. Adam's Eve says wholeness and balance vibration tribe. Shalom, Adam's Eve, Islam. So I'm gonna restore it back to what our ancient ancestors knew that text to mean, what Moses' words were. All right, I'm gonna restore it. So if you have it in your heart to support that project, I would appreciate it, and I give you thanks and gratitude in advance. Check out my literature. I have lots of books in the description area of my video. You're welcome to order the books for yourself and for your kinfolk. Also, subscribe rather, into the one-on-one Ancient Ibaryath course, our streaming online course, so that you can get educated in the fundamentals of Ancient Ibaryath. It is an intensive course. It's a linguistics course. Has nothing to do with religion, y'all. It's linguistics. However, it's going to open your eyes to many, many scriptures and verses, and it's going to educate you on how to study them. All right, it's going to unlock them, and you'll see the flower bloom once you unlock them, okay? Also, everybody's welcome to come to my Saturday live online curses course, 506 the curses course. Okay, it's a live course. It's a Zoom meeting. Saturday, 10 a.m., every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I gotta go. I'll be back in a couple hours, all right? Probably 3, somewhere around 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back, and we're gonna pick up on this, okay? So, I'm out.